Now at 5, local neighborhoods host their annual Independence Day celebrations. Officials beef up security for 4th of July events following recent terror attacks. And a massive algae infestation is severely affecting tourism in Florida.
It's hot and breezy out here at the George Bush Presidential Library for the 56th annual I Love America celebration. I'll have your fireworks forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Now, live on KBTX, the Brazos Valley's news leader. This is News 3 at 5.
Local, state, and federal authorities are on heightened alert this 4th of July. As Craig Boswell reports, this is amid an outbreak of terror attacks that have threatened security overseas.
In New York City, the NYPD is showing its strength on the ground and in the air. The U.S. Coast Guard is also boosting patrols.
We just have extra presence out on the water to prevent any emergencies from happening.
In Los Angeles, police made their presence known at LAX Airport.
It makes me feel comfortable to know that I'm secure.
Crowds gathering for fireworks at Chicago's Navy Pier had to go through an inspection. In the nation's capital, heavily armed police could be seen outside Union Station, and inside, canines patrolled as travelers arrived ahead of D.C.'s celebrations. The security preparations for today's celebrations come after a series of ISIS-linked attacks overseas. There were bombings in Baghdad yesterday, and last week, militants carried out deadly attacks in Bangladesh and Turkey.
Recent terrorist attacks around the world are very carefully followed.
David Snyder coordinates emergency plans for the D.C. region and says authorities are prepared.
It is a target that obviously has monuments, large numbers of people for things like the July 4th celebration. We're very aware of that.
But many Americans aren't letting the threat of terrorism stop them from celebrating.
I'm not the kind to live in fear, so, that's what they want us to do.
Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Here at home, 4th of July festivities kicked off early this morning in the Firehawks neighborhood in College Station. Families started lining up around 8:30. The kids who were ready to start riding their bikes were all decked out for Independence Day. The Homeowners Association has been organizing the parade for the last few years, and every year the turnout is bigger than the year before.
And it's an opportunity for us to celebrate our country and to celebrate those who gave us this country, our founding fathers. And it's also an opportunity to allow the next generation to get a feel for what the 4th of July means.
The parade route was 3 laps around the street, 1 time each for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, fire destroyed a vehicle this morning on Highway 6. It happened just south of College Station near Santa's Wonderland. Officials say everyone got out safely. The vehicle is a total loss, and fire officials say the cause of the blaze is undetermined and doesn't look suspicious. Traffic was slow in the area for a couple of hours while crews worked the scene. An update to a story we told you about Friday involving authorities having to step on the gas to keep up with a 12-year-old behind the wheel. Police dashcam video shows the dangerous pursuit just north of Houston at speeds well beyond legal limits. You're watching the child weave in and out of traffic, racing through red lights and into oncoming traffic. OnStar ultimately ended the chase by remotely disabling the car in Montgomery, but not before the 12-year-old sideswiped at least one other vehicle. Remarkably, no one was injured. As many as 7 Fort Hood soldiers were involved in a shootout early this morning in New Braunfels. The soldiers told police they tried to stop a couple fighting, and that led to the shootout. They believed that they had calmed the situation, but as soon as the soldiers started walking back to their vehicle, the boyfriend started firing at them. One of the soldiers told police he began firing his own weapon, describing it as cover fire so his fellow soldiers could get away. The boyfriend was hit in the elbow. Police say charges are not expected against the soldiers. A Waco teenager suffered a gunshot wound to the head when he placed a flame to a live rifle round and it exploded. Police say the 13-year-old boy was critically wounded Saturday night at his home. He was using a cigarette lighter to heat the round when the explosion caused the bullet and heated the bullet and causing it to separate, and the bullet penetrated his forehead and became lodged behind his eye. The boy was home with an older sibling and was rushed to the hospital by private car. The teen was taken to a Waco hospital before being transferred to Children's Hospital in Temple. Some intellectually disabled people are suing the state of Texas, accusing the state of keeping them in nursing homes without seeing if they could live in the community. It took about 40 years for one West Texas man to finally get to choose a community home, even though he can read, write, and drive. Another case features a 29-year-old woman dying after she was left in a bed at a nursing home for about 165 hours a week. The suit could include more than 4,000 people in nursing homes who are potentially affected. The state denies it's ignoring the disabled. A man is recovering in the hospital after he was shot and beaten near a mosque early Sunday morning in southwest Houston. He is in stable condition at the hospital this afternoon. Houston PD hasn't found any direct evidence the shooting was a hate crime, but those in Houston's Muslim community fear it could be. Authorities say 5 train cars overturned outside of San Antonio, spilling about 1,000 gallons of sodium hydroxide and prompting a temporary evacuation. The derailment happened around 4 p.m. yesterday in an industrial area southwest of the city. Authorities say the sodium hydroxide didn't cause fumes or residue and is only dangerous if touched. An environmental group is cleaning up and authorities are investigating the cause of the derailment. And if you're thinking of visiting Florida, the coast for the summer vacation, you may want to rethink where you're going. That's because smelly, toxic algae has coated beaches on both the east and west coasts of the state. As Kim Hutcherson reports, it's already affecting businesses that count on tourism dollars on this 4th of July.
Thick, green, and smelly, this is the stuff coating beaches and estuaries on Florida's east and west coasts. The problem began with water releases from Lake Okeechobee, intended to protect nearby communities from flooding.
This year we've got an algae bloom in Lake Okeechobee that is toxic, that has the highest levels of toxin they've ever tested before.
That algae has now clogged beaches that bring in vital tourist dollars, and it doesn't just look bad.
It makes your eyes burn. It feels like someone is sitting on your chest. Porta potty smells like that. It smells like raw sewage. It looks like raw sewage. Any horrible thing you can think of, that's what it smells like.
It's filling estuaries and waterways used by the fishing industry.
We're spiraling into a massive fish kill in Martin County and on the West Coast estuary. That's the next step after the algae blooms. Yeah. It dies, you get a fish kill.
And it could impact people's health.
There is growing evidence nationally and internationally that cyanobacteria, which is what this stuff is, doesn't produce just one toxin. It produces a half a dozen toxins.
Voters have already approved a plan to treat water releases from Lake Okeechobee, but it won't be in place in time to save this summer's fishing or tourist seasons. I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
Need a new way to relax? More on a new technique that uses sound waves to release tension. And when it comes to sunscreen, you need the kind that works best for you, what you need to know to protect yourself and your family.
You're watching KBTX News 3, the people you know, the news you trust.
We all know it's important to use sunscreen to protect against skin cancer, but picking the right one can be confusing. Marley Hall talks to a dermatologist who answers some common questions.
Taylor Marsh uses sun protection daily. When choosing sunscreen, she looks at the SPF level first.
I just go for something really high, that's clean, hypoallergenic, and fragrance-free.
From creams to lotions to sprays, finding the right one can be a challenge. Dermatologist Daryl Regal says the best kind is the one you're actually going to use.
Sprays are the most commonly used type of sunscreen. The issue with spray is it's hard to sometimes know where you missed. So we recommend you put 2 coats of a spray on.
The American Academy of Dermatology says look for broad spectrum water resistant sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher. And it's okay if the product doesn't have an expiration date. Most last about 3 years.
Sunscreen is not required to have expiration dates on it. The one thing that really breaks sunscreen down is extreme heat. So if you leave it in your car, that will actually break the sunscreen down.
Most people don't use enough sunscreen and don't reapply as often as they should. Experts say a shot glass full will cover the whole body and reapply every 2 hours.
Even if you have darker skin, you're still at risk for skin cancer. And it's never too late to protect yourself, even if you got too much sun as a kid.
The damage you get from the sun is cumulative. There's sort of a meter running on your skin. It never really goes backwards. But if you can slow that meter down,
you could improve your risk later on. Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
Sunscreen should be applied before you get to the beach or pool. Experts say it takes a few minutes to kick in, especially if it's water resistant. Well, coming up next in weather, we go live out to the Bush Library to check in on Carly Cassidy. She'll have tonight's firework forecast.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team. Brought to you by the Bank and Trust, local bank, local bankers, and now local weather.
The 56th annual I Love America celebration is getting started off here at the George Bush Presidential Library. Lots of people are headed out here. There's free watermelon, bounce houses, and the kettle corn smells amazing. So if you're headed out here soon, let's get to what you can expect weather-wise. So earlier today, started with quite a bit of cloud cover, as you can see on visible satellite. Now as the day went on, most of those clouds moved on out of here as well. As far as any for that rain that we could be seeing, not really going to be seeing a whole lot. Pinpoint forecast keeps us pretty dry throughout the afternoon and evening. Later tonight, though, we could be seeing an isolated shower or two drift through overnight. Shouldn't be causing much of an issue and lasting through Tuesday. But as we make our way throughout Tuesday, really just seeing that cloud cover, and then as we head into the evening hours, really seeing that sunshine come back. As for our live eye, here's a look outside. We're seeing that there's a little bit of cloud cover mixed with some blue skies. As far as our temperatures go, we're staying pretty warm. Temperatures are into the mid-90s across the Brazos Valley, but with that heat index factored in there, with the humidity and those dew points increasing, really making those temperatures feel about 5 to 10 degrees hotter. So that's why we actually have that heat advisory in place. That's for all of the Brazos Valley through Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. So you're definitely going to want to be careful when you come out here or have any plans outdoors for in the heat. You're going to want to stay hydrated and keep an eye on the children, elderly, and also the pets. As far as our wind speeds go, we're actually getting a little bit of a breeze and a little bit of relief to those hot temperatures. With those wind speeds out of the south, about 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained, and we're seeing some gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So at least that will be sticking around and give us a little bit of relief to the heat and humidity. Now for tonight, here's a look at that fireworks forecast. The sun is going to set at about 8:30, and most of those fireworks are going to be going off between 9 to 9:30 tonight here out at the George Bush Presidential Library. So our temperatures will be staying into the mid-80s. We'll see those mostly clear skies, but as far as those temperatures are going to be feeling, like we already saw with that heat index, going to make them feel about 5 to 10 degrees warmer. Overnight, still going to be a warm night, not going to be dropping off much as far as our low temperatures go. We're staying into the mid to upper 70s across the Brazos Valley with those mostly clear skies, and those wind speeds staying between about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now here's a look at your 7-day forecast. These conditions are going to be remaining for the rest of the week, pretty similar, seeing the heat, humidity, all that sunshine, and thankfully that breeze will also be sticking around and give us a little bit of relief to those hot conditions out here. So wind speeds will stay about 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the south. Temperatures staying into the mid-90s. As for our low temperatures, not going to be cooling off a whole lot. We'll be staying into the mid to upper 70s. So that's a look at your forecast. If you are coming out here, there's a lot more people coming out. Definitely going to want to bring some water with you and also try to stay as cool as you can. We'll have more coming up in just a little bit. We're going to be talking with someone at 6 o'clock more about the event. We'll send things back to you guys into the studio.
Thank you very much, Carly. Beautiful background out there with all the wind blowing and Old Glory in the background there. Have fun out there. Well, if you need a new way to kick back, we'll tell you about a new technique that uses sound to relax your nerves. But first, here's a look at what's on in primetime tonight on KBTX. At 7 o'clock, it's Mom, followed by Two Broke Girls. Then it's a special presentation of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. Then stay with us for a local July 4th wrap-up on News 3 at 10. Here's what's happening after hours around town. At the Edge General Store, David McKelka and friends are playing Thursday, and the Bryce Willard Band is playing Saturday. Both shows are at 6 until 8. The band My Buddy Todd is playing Friday at the Home Sweet Farm Market and Beer Garden in downtown Brenham, starting at 8:30. And Midwest State of Mind is playing Saturday at Hometown Pizza in Iola, starting at 8 o'clock. If you know of any live entertainment in our area, email us at afterhours@kbtx.com. Well, it's time for Pump Patrol. We've been monitoring the lowest gas prices in town. Sam's Club is the cheapest at $1.89. Murphy USA on Briarcrest rings in at $1.91 a gallon, and HEB on Villa Maria is just a penny more. To find all the lowest gas prices in the Bryan College Station area, go to our web channel, kbtx.com, click on the Features tab, and look for Pump Patrol. Well, looking for a new way to relax. As Danielle Nottingham reports, there's a ritual that uses sounds to balance energy and provide relaxation.
The crystal bowl rings and sound washes over the room. This hybrid of meditation and yoga is called a sound bath. There's no actual bathing, just bowls, gongs, and the vibrations of sound. Jamie Ford has been leading the sessions for more than a decade.
You listen to the sounds, you focus, and it carries your mind away, and then you're allowed to relax your body. We start to relax and also have physiological responses such as decreased heart rate, decreased pulse, our breathing deepens.
The practice has become popular in major cities like Los Angeles and New York, but even faithful followers like Gia Victorino started out skeptical.
The first time I heard of a sound bath, somebody had asked me randomly, have you ever been to a sound bath? And I thought, what is that?
These gongs represent the planets, and each one is played to experience a different emotion.
Some of them are going to be a little more powerful and demanding and build that confidence. Others will be softer and gentle and feel a little bit more, put you in a more open state.
It allows you to really sit back and receive. So there really isn't anything necessary or required for you to do. It's just allowing yourself to be.
When the sound bath is over, a moment of silence to soak it all in. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Astros and Rangers look for wins on the 4th of July. We'll let you know how they did ahead in sports. Plus, it's a very busy day for NBA free agency. One big name is heading west in search of a championship.
Sports is presented by Allen Honda, corner of Southwest Parkway and Highway 6. Allen's got your Honda. From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
4th of July usually means a day of rest and relaxation for most folks across the country, but that is not true today in the NBA. Plenty of big-time off-season moves have been made. The old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what Kevin Durant did today. Durant is leaving Oklahoma City to sign with Golden State, giving the Warriors a dream team-like roster of Durant, two-time NBA MVP Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The deal is 2 years for just over $54 million for the seven-time All-Star. Golden State has to make room for Durant, and their loss is the Dallas Mavericks gain. Dallas will sign former Golden State forward Harrison Barnes to a 4-year and $94 million deal and have agreed to a trade to get center Andrew Bogut. Also on a very busy Independence Day, the Spurs have agreed to a deal with Pau Gasol. Word is Tim Duncan is leaning towards retirement. On the diamond this afternoon, the Astros get past Seattle 2-1 behind 10 strikeouts from Lance McCullers and a home run from George Springer. Rangers go up 4-0 on the Red Sox in the first, but Boston storms back to beat Texas 12-5. Here's hoping you've done the bulk of your 4th of July eating before watching this, the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Competition. This is the 100th edition of the event, and Joey Jaws Chestnut just about eats that many. He throws down 70 dogs in 10 minutes, breaking his own world record of 69 he set in 2013. Matt Stoney upset Chestnut a year ago, but finishes second today with 53 downed dogs. It's one of those things you don't really want to watch, but you also can't look away.
I don't think I'd ever want another hot dog if I ate 53 hot dogs.
Yet he comes back year after year.
And a lot of times, the littlest people that eat the most. The lady a few years ago was teeny tiny, but ate all those hot dogs. I don't know how they do it, but that's a
little guy
acquired
right
skill.
there.
Yeah,
Throw him down.
I'm going to go there next year and try it out. We'll see how it goes. Well, thanks, Cody. Well, we'll have highlights and a look at what's coming up at 6. A Bryan bull rider has died after being injured riding one yesterday in LaGrange. And the night skies will be lighting up in a few more hours. We'll have an update on the fireworks and July 4th festivities around the area. And Carly will be back with your weather forecast too.
We are feeling the heat out here, but there's also a good breeze going, so don't let the heat keep you from coming out here and celebrating the 4th with us. And if you're coming out later for the fireworks, let's take one more look at that fireworks forecast. Those temperatures are going to be into the mid-80s, but they're still going to be feeling into the mid to low 90s, so it's still going to be feeling pretty warm. Breeze will still be sticking around. As for your next 7 days, still seeing the heat, humidity, sunshine, all that's going to be sticking around along with those breezy winds. So same pattern, going to be staying around for the next week. That's it for us right now. We'll be back here at 6. The CBS Evening News starts now.
Thank you for watching News 3 at 5 on KBTX. The people you know, the news you trust.